In this guitar lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play the song Joe Hill. Now, Joe Hill was a Swedish immigrant to the United States. He was a songwriter and he was a union organiser. He came up with the phrase pie in the sky. That was his phrase. And in 1915, he was framed for murder and he was executed. Now, one of the last things that he said in a letter to a friend of his the day before his execution was, "Don't waste any time mourning for me, organise." And that was shortened into the phrase, "Don't mourn, organise." Now, after his death, a poem was written about him called Joe Hill, and later on it was set to music. Initially it was recorded by Paul Robeson, and somewhat more recently in the 60s, 70s and so on, it's been recorded by Joan, Baez, Pete Seeger, the Dubliners and others. So let me teach you the song. Put a capo on the 4th fret of your guitar to follow along. Now, there's more than one song called Joe Hill. The one that I'm going to teach you is the song that's sung by Joan Baez and Pete Seeger and also Paul Robeson. There's a version by the Dubliners too with the same words, slightly different chord structure, but I'm going to go through the Pete Seeger, Joan Baez, Paul Robeson version for you. And I'm going to use a capo at the 4th fret. Now, I will just say, if you want to play along with the Joan Baez version, take the capo off and play it open. And for the Pete Seeger version, put your capo at the 3rd fret. But for me, I'm using a capo at the 4th fret. I'm going to start by singing the first 3 verses of the song for you to give you an idea of how it goes. So here we are. I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Said I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. In Salt Lake City, Joe, says I, him standing by my bed. They framed you on a murder charge, said Joe, but I ain't dead. Said Joe, but I ain't dead. The copper bosses killed you, Joe. They shot you, Joe, says I. Takes more than guns to kill a man, says Joe, I didn't die. Says Joe, I didn't die. Okay, there's 3 more verses, but I think that'll do in terms of giving you a demo of how the song sounds. So next we'll look at the chords, and then after that I'll show you strumming pattern and that right hand technique that I used there. I'll explain that to you as well. So our first chord is G major. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night. And on the word alive, we're going to go to C. Now you can play a standard C major, alive as you are, but I suggest you play a C over G because it'll give you the option of playing this low G relative to the capo on the 6th string there. So C over G is a little bit better. Alive as you end, then back to G major on me. Me. Back to C over G. Says I, but Joe, you're. Back to G major. 10 years dead, I. Now we're going to go to A7. Never died, says. Then D major. He. Then D7. I never died, says. Then back to G major. He. Now between the verses you can do a little G major to C over G. This is a different form of C over G to the first one we played, by the way. Back to G major again, which can be rather nice. It can sound like this. And then we're on to the 2nd verse. Now all the verses are the same, but I'll take you through the 2nd verse and call out the chords as we go just to get it firmly into your head. So Here's the second verse starting on G major. In Salt Lake City, Joe says I, him, then C over G, standing by my, back to G major, bed. They, then C over G again, framed you on A, then G major, murder charge, says A7, Joe, but I ain't, D major, dead, says D7, Joe, but I ain't, then back to G major, dead. Remember, you can go to C over G there and back to G again between the verses. Okay, so that's all there is to the chords. All the verses are the same. Next, I'm going to show you a strumming pattern, and then after that, I'll show you that right hand technique that I used in the demo. Now you can absolutely play Joe Hill with a pick, and if you do use a pick, a nice strumming pattern to use is down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. So let me demo a verse of the song for you using that strumming pattern. Here we go. And standing there as big as life, and smiling with his eyes, says Joe, what they can never kill goes on to organize, goes on to organize. Okay, so if you do use that strumming pattern, a couple of tips for you. The first one is caress the strings a bit, hold the pick lightly in your hands, don't put too much force and vigour into it. You caress the strings, you're going to get a nicer sound. And the other tip is on the first down and the third down, go mainly for the bass strings, particularly the 6th string and a bit of the 5th string. On the other strokes, go more for the treble strings. Strings 3, 2, 1, maybe a bit of 4. And if you do that, you'll get this effect. Very shortly, I'm going to show you the right hand technique that I used in the demo near the beginning of this lesson. But just before I do that, let me say, if you've been enjoying this lesson, please do hit the like button. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do subscribe, and then you'll be notified of all the future guitar lessons that I put out, provided you've got notifications switched on in your YouTube settings, of course. Okay, let's look at the right hand technique that you can use to play this song. We'll do that next. Now, the right hand technique that I'm going to show you is basically a variation on a standard Travis picking pattern. If you don't already know about Travis picking, I've got a separate lesson that's an introduction to Travis picking, and I'll put a link to that in the description, and it'll tell you what Travis picking is and teach you a simple Travis picking pattern. Okay, but for now, let's cut to the chase. We'll zoom in on the right hand and I'll explain how to play this pattern to you. Alright, so my left hand is in a chord of G major here, but we're going to focus on what the right hand is doing. And I'll start by playing you the pattern slowly. Alright, let's break that down then. So we're starting with the thumb, playing the 6th string. Next, the middle finger, or you can use your pointer, your index finger if you prefer, is going to do a little downwards flick, and it's going to hit the 3rd string, 2nd string, and the 1st string, like that. So we've got thumb on the 6th string, then downward flick with your middle finger or your pointer, then thumb playing the 6th string. Next, your pointer, your index finger is going to play the 3rd string, thumb is going to play the 4th string, and then middle finger is going to play the 2nd string. And that's the pattern. You just keep on repeating it. So I'll show you again. So thumb on the 6th string, downwards flick on the top strings with your middle finger or your pointer, thumb playing the 6th string. Then index, pointer in other words, plays 3rd string, thumb plays 4th string, middle finger plays 2nd string. Alright, so we get this. Now, if you know your Travis picking, you'll probably recognise that that is just really a variation on Travis picking. So a pure Travis picking version of that would be this. And all we're doing is replacing the second of those notes, that note, with the downwards flick. Other than that, it's a standard Travis picking pattern. Now what you can do if you want to vary things a bit is to vary the bass note that you're playing. So you can play 6th string, then your downwards flick, and then 5th string, and then 3rd string, 4th string, 2nd string. You can do that if you want to. So that's a possible variation. So that pattern only really varies slightly when you change chords. So here I am now on the C over G chord, and all I'm going to do is vary the bass notes that I play. So I'm going to start by playing the 5th string with the thumb, then the flick down, then the 6th string with the thumb, and then the rest is the same. 3rd string, 4th string, 2nd string. So we have this. When we go to the A7, it's the same as for the C over G, so 5th string, our downward flick, 6th string, and then 3rd string, 4th string, 2nd string. Now when you get to the D major and the D7, you can play the same pattern on both of those chords. I'll demonstrate it on the D major, and again, it's only a small variation on the normal pattern in terms of the bass strings you're going to play, but you can play the 4th string with your thumb, then your flick down, then 5th string with the thumb, and then 3, 4, 2 as normal. So we have this. Now, when you finish a verse and before you start the next verse, you can do that nice little G major to C over G, this alternate form of C over G, back to G major again as a turnaround, okay, between the verses. And you can make it sound like this. So, in terms of the right hand pattern, it's actually just the standard pattern I'm playing there. All I'm doing is, when I play that downward flick with my middle finger, or you can use your index finger obviously, I'm just hammering onto that C over G chord as I do that downward flick. So we have that. Do that again for you. And then you continue with the normal pattern. So 3rd string, 4th string, but before you play the 2nd string, you're going to put your fingers back into standard G major chord. All right? It doesn't really matter when you move back to that G major chord, provided you move back before you play that 2nd string, because that wants to be open. All right? So let me show you that again. It's going to sound like this. That's rather a nice little turnaround that you can use between the verses.